Tiantan store. Today I visited Beijing Hyundai Sonata, positioned as a medium-sized car. If your budget exceeds 100,000 yuan, this model is worth considering. It's very cost-effective in terms of price competitiveness. Despite modest monthly sales of about 1,500 units, the car stands out for its excellent value. Its initial pricing strategy demonstrates a competitive attitude, with costs ranging from 137,800 to 186,800 yuan, offering 5 distinct configuration options. What about the 2.0 T2 powertrain at present? If you get a loan of 10,000 yuan and a comprehensive discount for this car, and then you add the National Treasure Post with a comprehensive date of up to 30,000 yuan, saying that after the entry-level discount for this car, the price of the naked car will be more than 100,000 yuan. What about the concept? In fact, it's just a tight car. Let's talk about the price of a naked car that was sold earlier here, but if you put it here, you can buy a joint venture midsize car, and then there is only one joint venture midsize car. I think the Buick Regal can keep up with the price, but everyone on Junvi knows it, right? Its whole 1.5T powertrain is a part that needs to be compromised by everyone, but the power performance of the 1.5T 170p horsepower 8-th transmission body here is really better, so the car is currently a more mid-range drive. And then if you increase the budget of 10,000 yuan, you can get to its 5T4 version with LR system. The overall configuration level is actually very comprehensive, so at present, this car as a whole is. If you care about the price, it is really worth looking at it. It's still relatively high. After all, this car is also a global drive. The key point is to talk to you about the configuration. At present, when everyone buys this car, basically, you don't have to worry about launching a special edition to steal it to you for inspection. Currently, it is all the standard low headlights of the series have a consulting light function. In terms of this wheel, the entry-level version is 17-inch, the mid-level version is 18-inch, and then when you reach the top version, you will be upgraded to 19-inch, and then the 2.0T version will upgrade you to this N-line kit. This is what I think the better thing about style is that everything is accompanied by an increase in power, and its overall appearance is also improved. Then in terms of the entire car body, the length of the car is 49452875. In fact, among the entire midsize cars, the overall level of this car is still a relatively mainstream data. I came to the back row to experience the space. Come to the back row. As a mid-size car, first of all, the entire legroom is available. I think it's just one drive away now. It won't say that it reflects very well, and then the interior space is indeed average. Its overall yield rate is still relatively high. Driving this leg has at least a fish volume close to Sanquan, and then this can... The floor was pushed up, but I didn't mean to put down my 44-yard size. It's just that the car has such a shape that it has a certain slipping preparation. From this appearance, you can also see that this real owner feels like a young sport, so the headspace has been shrunk, but fortunately, his legroom is quite abundant. As long as I am 1.87 meters tall, I can't actually find a certain comfortable sitting posture, but it's true that this headspace is placed in a joint venture with the same price. I personally think the overall rear space performance is above average and can meet the basic practicality of daily life, and then... In terms of configuration, both entry-level and top-level models are equipped with this single sunroof as standard, but the entry-level models are equipped with this single sunroof. The price of this panoramic sunroof that supports optional installation is 3,050, but I also told you earlier that this car is basically a stock car at present, so don't expect such an optional installation. But in addition, other configurations are such as dual Type-C interfaces for the rear air conditioner outlets, including the rear armrest that includes the standard handle of the entire unit. What should I say? It's true that there is no drawstring, but as you can see, even if it is convenient for me to open it, it is easier to open when driving without a drawstring on the rear armrest, so I don't think this affects practicality. But after opening, the overall length includes. The cup holder inside is quite practical, so I think the whole car is big, and there is no obvious shortcoming on the level. In fact, the daily practicality is not affected. Then when I come to the front row, I will see what specific configurations I feel about when I come to the front row. As far as the whole number portability in this car is still relatively high, and they all belong to a fashionable shape, but combined with the current price, I can only say that the materials used can only be said to be relatively okay. So although the car sounds like a model, it actually has this kind of carbon fiber textured road potential plate, and with this large connected screen, the overall shape area feels more youthful. Then the key point is to say that this car is what I said earlier. As a global drive, it will take into account the practical needs of most people. This car is really good in terms of practical performance. First of all, the multifunctional direction has most functions, and then the entire middle moving platform, which also retains the physical buttons that can be used, including the work adjustment. Therefore, at present in our domestic market, everyone may have a strong demand for buttons. All real hall buttons may be cancelled daily. It's really not in use, and it's a big trend. Basically, many new energy sources are now listed here from the original, maybe 2 large screens, and there are no real hall buttons. Now, they basically reserve certain real hall buttons for you. It would be better to operate with physical buttons. In addition, let's look at one detail. You can look at the charging port. It is basically arranged clearly for you here. Then various functions, including devices, are all boards. In terms of details, the repair is really good. It only has an advantage as a global drive. LG cars are currently equipped with gears, but the gears are not the ones that fluctuate up and down in the traditional sense. It's a bit popular gears. Its idea is the same, through such a choice. The learning cost is not very high, and the better point is that all the original party area is now made into a saving space for you, such as the mobile phone's account platform and the mobile phone's Altoir 2 spare racks, including the overall space arrangement. I think they are all very reasonable, and the practical performance is really good. Then I want to tell you about the whole screen before you get started. It is actually a screen shape, and the overall screen size will be smaller, only this time is upgraded to a 12.3 British full crystal instrument plus 12.3 British Chinese holding, but the car and machine functions are the same. The network, and then there is a built-in Baidu map. In terms of overall practicality, I have repeatedly emphasized to him that it is actually a problem. Then the configuration of the entry-level model corresponds to a drop-off price after its current discount, which is actually not low, because reversing affects the direction of the leather. The electric adjustment heating outside the seat-sensing rear door is given to you, and then increasing the budget of 10,000 is the second entry-level Pro version, which I have repeatedly emphasized before. Add electric adjustment and heating for the front seats, and then upgrade the entire central control screen, including wireless charging of car functional audio, etc. 9 configuration upgrades are. So personally, with an increase of 10,000 yuan in my budget, the 1.5T Pro version is the most cost-effective among all driving vehicles. Compared with some medium-sized cars in the same price range, this version also has the most obvious advantages. Then in terms of power, in terms of two sets of power, the 1.5T version has 170 PS horsepower, and the 20 version has 250 horsepower, both of which are 8-speed boxes. In fact, the power parameters are actually relatively advanced compared with engines of the same level and displacement. The structure of front wheat rich and rear multi-link guy. Let's go to a layout. Personally, relatively speaking, although it's 20T's 250 times horsepower is ahead in the same class, and I told you earlier that it will upgrade the whole N-line kit correspondingly, and the whole appearance sporty will be improved more obviously. However, let's say that at present, this car's competitiveness in the whole class is actually the main price, including power, including configuration of a comprehensive cost performance. At this time, if you compare it with a Regal, such as the 2.0 Tiana or the Celsius Video 2-liter Asia Dragon, its overall price will be lower, its power performance will be better, and its configuration will still be higher. This is its price-performance ratio, a higher point. In addition, in comparison, for example, the current Accord and British style, although the price of the entry-level model they launched is relatively low, the configuration is indeed not complete. Therefore, they only go to the 20-device version. Basically, you can control the price of the naked car. It costs about 15 yuan for the Accord, which can basically cover some of their main sets. At this time, capabilities, I think users may think about it accordingly if they consider this one again, but if we talk about the current budget of more than 100,000, you want one with a more appropriate price, more complete configurations, and relatively good power performance. In fact, the Elan Special 15T Pro version has a high performance ratio and will better meet your needs.